Howdy, Fi Guys. I did a thing. And by a thing, I mean I downloaded 5 budgeting apps, color-coded my debt, and cried into my $7 latte that I definitely should have bought. Shouldn't have bought. Shouldn't have bought. I'm 26. I have 3 credit cards. I have 2 student loans and 1 dangerously inflated sense of confidence every time I say, I'm going to get my finances together this month. I've said that for 19 consecutive months. Here's my financial breakdown, or financial horror show, as I call it. I have an emergency fund with $83 in it. My biggest line item last month was Uber Eats, followed closely by unexplained Target runs. Okay. We all know the temptations of Target. We've all been there. I thought investing meant buying crypto at 3 a.m. because some TikTok said this coin is about to pop. Spoiler, it did not. It died, and it fully evaporated. Anyway, I keep hearing people say money is just a tool. We have said that before on the podcast. This is accurate. And honestly, I think I've been using mine to dig my own grave. Oh, nice. How do I fix this without becoming one of those finance people who eats plain rice and shame for dinner? Oh, kind of calling me out for that one, all right? Okay. Man, now I'm really... You can't add food into the viewer mailbag, guys. I'm already hungry. I'm hungry 24/7. I want to get my life together without giving up iced coffee and serotonin. Fair enough. Please save me. Or at least roast me gently while offering some usable advice. From spend with sense, not just suspense. Grow your sense, not your expense. Alrighty. Well. A little bit of a doozy. Nothing too crazy. Nothing too light.
Nothing too crazy on this one.
Nothing too crazy.
So this guy's about your age, Dominic. Mm-hmm. What would you say to somebody your age? Say this is your friend who's coming to you. Maybe this is something that has happened in your life. What would be your advice to them?
I'd say you got to build a budget, brother. Like you got to, what's coming in, what's going out. That's phase 1. You got to know what's coming in and what's going out. Like, not just like, bro, I spent like $200 on groceries this month. It's like, no, I need to the penny, to the dollar. What is it? So once you got that, and it's so easy nowadays. It's so freaking easy nowadays to really lock in with that. I mean, he said he had like quite a few apps, right? So maybe for this person, since they already have all the apps color coded and everything, and they already got everything locked in, maybe they just need an accountability partner. Just like, hey, what'd you spend this week? What'd you spend today? Right? I know for me, an accountability partner helped a lot when I was getting started at the gym. So maybe finance, it could work for you as well. As far as the Uber Eats being the largest line item on the bill or on the budget, that's wild. We need to get you a pan. We need to get you some Costco membership, and you need to start like not eating out as much. Yeah, I mean, if food is your biggest line item, that is beyond concerning. Not in every case, but in this case, I would say, especially with $83 in the emergency fund, not great. Also, stop listening to people pump crypto stocks and any other investments.
You shouldn't be watching TikTok at 3 a.m.
No. I mean, were you listening last week when we said, you should be getting more sleep than screen time? That was our action step of the week. I hope you're following it. Or sleeping in until 1. I'm not sure. That being said, get off TikTok. See if you can. It all depends on how much they're bringing in, right? They might be bringing in 200K and blowing 200K. They might be bringing in 20,000 and blowing 20,000, right? It all starts with the budget, right? And being disciplined enough to follow it, and being realistic in setting your budget, right? And making that room for the lattes, right? Adding into the budget, like, hey, like I'm putting aside this much money to blow on lattes every month, every week, right? So I guess it's all about designing a budget that actually works and not being too strenuous with yourself. But I'm curious to see, what do you think, Chris?
Yeah. This has come from my experience. When I typically meet people who are in this regard, where I usually start is it's the little decisions. It's the little decisions you make every day that are compounding and adding up and adding up and adding up to make this into a very bad situation. Nothing that he said specifically, minus the crypto thing at 3 a.m., is like out of left field, like, oh my God, we need to fix this right now. So what I think is just a lot of little decisions, like, oh, should I cook at home and like save some money, or should I eat out? Well, it's always easier to eat out. It sounds like this person has prioritized convenience over everything else. And that's fine. If you want to say convenience is my number one thing, that's totally cool. You have to be able to earn that, though. You have to earn that through putting in the work, through putting in the discipline to earn that convenience. You just don't get to go directly to convenience, directly to not having to try, unless you put in all the work to try. Because what I want to know is, you've said you've been doing this consecutively for 19 months and nothing has changed. Why are we doing the exact same thing every month? I'm glad that you're keeping to a resolution. You're trying to stick with it every month. So are you basically saying at the beginning of every month, like, all right, I'm going to be perfect now. Like from here on out, I'm going to be perfect. And then it gets to like noon on the 1st of the month. And you're like, all right, well, I'm kind of hungry. Should I make a quesadilla at home or should I order Chipotle? Like, it's really hard to get the tortillas out of my fridge and like put the cheese on the tortilla. I'm just going to order Uber Eats. And then you're like, well, the month is effed. So might as well just keep this bad train rolling. And then you do it again. And then the next month you're like, all right, we're back to the first. We're going to do it again. It's kind of like that guy who like quits smoking every 10 minutes. He's like, oh guys, like I quit smoking until I have to go outside later to smoke again. Yeah. That's kind of where I feel you are. So don't let perfect be the enemy of good here. It honestly sounds like, Dominic, I think the accountability thing is perfect. If I was you, I don't know if this website's still around, but there used to be a app you used to be able to do where it's basically like, I don't do this. I'm putting up this much money, collateral, that's going to go towards some charity that I don't like, or I'm going to give this much money away. So people used to use it a lot for the gym. Like, if I don't go to the gym, I'm giving $1,000 to the NRA or $1,000 to NPR, depending on like how you feel about those things.
Gotcha.
And then
just to clarify, if I don't like guns, I'm putting up $1,000. If I don't go through, like, I'll put up like $100 to donate to the NRA, right? Because I don't want them to get the money, but I want to be better. Gotcha. Okay, I see what you're. So that's wild. I hope that's still around. That's hilarious.
Yeah. And you can do that with a friend. I mean, honestly, like you and a buddy, maybe you guys have some issues, or like you both have some like financial issues together. Gamify this. Try to see what you can do. Having that accountability to somebody else could really help you, because it sounds like the biggest thing that's coming to you is you're giving yourself an out. The moment it gets difficult, the moment you have to try, you're giving yourself an out of like, it's not that big of a deal anyways. But you wrote into the podcast for reasons, because you don't want to keep on being in this situation, and you're hoping that Dominic and I can say some magical words in some magical order, in some magical tone of voice that's going to get you to finally realize what you've known the entire time. You need to be the hero of your own story. You need to get to work. You need to make small choices every day to get a little bit better. I'm not asking you to go from $83 in an emergency fund to Warren freaking Buffett. I'm not asking for that. What I'm asking is tomorrow, get to $84. The next day, $85. The next day, $86. Save $1 a day. Get a little bit better. And a little bit better, and a little bit better. If right now you're eating out at Uber Eats every day, ideally I would have you go cold turkey. But if you can't, can we do Uber Eats 5 times a week instead of 7? If you're doing it 3 times a day, can you do it 1 time a day instead of a few? What can we do to start saving money? Because the equation is very simple. I know that financial advisors, quote unquote, financial experts, like to try to make it as complicated as they possibly can to tell you, listener, that you don't know what you're doing without me. Without me being the hero, you can't figure it out. But the equation is how much money you make minus how much money you spend equals the gap. That gap is the driver to everything in life that you want. That gap, it could be your emergency fund. That can be your investments. That can be your IRA, your 401k, house money, or saving up for your future down payment for a house. All of those things comes from that one place, the gap. How much money you make minus how much money you spend. So we have 2 levers we can pull from. How much money we make. Can we increase our income? I don't know what your income is. You didn't say anything like that. But I have to imagine that your expenses lever is like pulled all the way down. And you're just like running it through the ground. So you need to let off of that lever a little bit and let some money stay inside your account and start getting addicted to gamifying. How much money can I save each month? What can I do with that money? How much can it free up for me? That is 80% to maybe 90% of being quote unquote good with money. It has nothing to do with buying some cryptocurrency in the middle of 3 a.m., Nothing to do with buying options, trading, derivatives, alpha, Fibonacci sequences, none of that. It has to do with everything that's going between your ears. How much money is coming in minus how much is coming out. Focus on the things you can control. The stock market's crazy. There's all these crazy things happening. But if you're just sitting here saying, I don't know what's going on, you clearly know what's going on. You're spending too much money on stuff that you don't need.
almost came out, but I mean, true.
Almost got it.
Almost got it. But true. Like, you shouldn't. And I'm just kind of trying to like flip the script a little bit. How good would that Uber Eats tasted if you knew it was purchased responsibly? I think it'd taste. Maybe it's just me. I think it'd taste even better. I think it would taste better, right? And maybe it's a matter of like, okay, maybe I need to like batch my meals. Maybe I need to make like a big thing of this, a big thing of that, right? And it's like, oh, I'll have this on Monday for lunch, and I'll have it on Thursday for lunch, and I'll have it on Saturday for lunch, right? It's like a cost-effective way to like really cut down. This is really not even a finance thing. This is mostly just food. Right? This is just food advice, honestly. So I guess I understand why I picked it. Is me and food, but yeah, Chris, I think you're spot on with your advice. And I think it's so funny. He's like, I heard like money is a tool, but I feel like I'm digging my own grave. It's like, oh, nice.
Yes, he's using it as a shovel to finish himself off. But I think what it really comes down to, people like this are often like kind of perfectionists at heart. And if it can't be perfect, then I'm not even going to try. And I'm going to just wreck it into a million ways. So only our listener can know this for sure. But like, are you the kind of person that's like, I shouldn't do this. And then you do it. And then while you're doing it, you're like, man, I'm just such a bad person for doing this. And then afterwards you feel bad for what you did. In order to get that serotonin, in order to feel better, you do something you shouldn't do to feel momentarily happy again because you feel bad about what you did. And that just creates this positive feedback loop, a positive feedback loop of negativity that just keeps on feeding itself. Bad of like, I feel bad that I did this thing. So I'm going to do something that's going to make me feel bad after I do it to make up for that thing. That just keeps it going and going and going. Your life is made up of the small habits, not the big things. So you have to make all of these little habits. And I know it's going to feel hard. So I'm not asking you to go from where you are right now to perfection. I'm asking you to try just a little bit every single day to get a little bit better and stay the hell off of TikTok at 3 a.m.
Exactly. Well, 1% better every day. Well, we appreciate you for writing in, and we hope that helps you. With that being said, we're going to be moving on to our win of the week. This is where we kind of end off the podcast on a little bit more of a higher note usually. And for this video podcast is sponsored by Monzon Wealth. The content in this podcast is for informational purposes only and should not be considered financial advice. We do not endorse specific products or services. Past performance does not guarantee future results. The opinions expressed are those of the hosts and guests, not the podcast sponsor. It is crucial to consult with a qualified financial advisor or professional who can provide advice tailored to your specific needs before making any financial decisions, investments, or taking any other actions. If you are seeking specified help, you can reach out to Chris at monzonwealth.com.